right, now we're going to get into some of the cast and the characters. Marion Crane is played by the actress Janet Leigh, who is the mother of Princess Leia, so Carrie Fisher. So acting was in that family. And she is a secretary at Arizona Real Estate Office. And she's 30 years old and she's not married. So to be 30 years old in this particular time period and not be married would have been really, really stressful for her. It would have been really, really devastating. And we see that's what's kind of motivating her to do the thing that she does right at the beginning of the film. She is in an affair with a man named Sam Loomis, who is, he's currently divorced, but his ex-wife, he has to pay a lot of alimony, so he doesn't have money to pay her. Yes, Sean?
Quick question, is this the actual character or just the woman herself?
This is the character. Okay. I'm giving you a little bit about Janet Leigh herself while we're talking. But yeah, the character is Marion Crane. Also note that Marion is spelled with an O instead of an A, which is a little bit of an unusual spelling. But Hitchcock thought that the O meant symbolize or represent emptiness, like a zero. So he spelled her name technically wrong or incorrect to reinforce that idea that she's a very lonely and desperate character. And she desperately wants to marry the long-term love affair of her life, Sam Loomis. And we're going to see that she's going to make some big mistakes right away because of that affair. A little bit more about Janet Leigh herself. Janet Leigh, like I said, was really, really good friends with Hitchcock. And so he played a lot of tricks with her. There's a very famous shower scene. And allegedly, one of the tricks that he played on her was instead of having warm water, which he had promised her, he had like ice cold water in order to get certain reactions from her. So we're gonna see some of those reactions, and keep in mind that those were mostly Alfred Hitchcock playing some really bad pranks on her. Sam Loomis is played by the actor John Gavin. And Sam is the second character that we're gonna meet in the film. He's not in the film very much, but he is from California, and he works at a hardware store. He meets up with Marion whenever he can, she lives in Phoenix. So he has to travel from California to Phoenix to see her on business trips. And the reason why they're not married is because, or the reason that he claims, is because of financial debt and problems that he has. He actually lives at the hardware store, so he lives in like the back room, so that really emphasizes just how financially strapped he is. He's frustrated. He seems like a really, really nice guy, and he refuses to marry Marion until he can financially provide for her. Also, we're going to see in the first scene that Sam is going to be shirtless, and Marion is as well. Which is really, really shocking. Like, you're going to see it and think nothing of it. But in this particular time period, Hitchcock was trying to push the envelope as much as possible. And so we're going to see these two characters in a very precarious situation. Norman Bates is played by Anthony Perkins. Anthony Perkins played this role so well, he basically had a hard time finding a job afterwards. He's going to get stereotyped into this particular role, and you'll see when we see the film just how good he really, really is. And so that was super, super unfortunate. And he plays a soft-spoken, shy young manager of the Bates Hotel, or Bates Motel. His mother, so Norman Bates' mother, Mrs. Bates, is the one who owns the hotel, and we're going to see that they have a very interesting relationship. So again, he lives with his mother in this huge, large house. He practices taxidermy for fun. So he really is obsessed with birds. So we're going to see a reoccurring image of birds throughout the film, which is going to have some pretty powerful symbolic meaning. Anthony Perkins himself is very likable as a character, which is why he was cast as this role. The Norman Bates in the book is short and really pudgy and really unlikable based on the descriptions of the author. So Hitchcock decided to switch it up quite a bit so that we like his character. Mrs. Bates is Norman's overbearing mother. She is, I think you'll laugh a lot of times when she talks, but you'll also be quite shocked at some of the things about her as well. Lila Crane is played by Vera Miles, and this is Marion's sister. Lila Crane is going to be in a huge chunk of the movie, searching for her sister. So Janet Leigh's character, even though she's the lead, is going to be in very little, mostly just in the front. But then when she's gone, Vera Miles' character is more prominent. And she is searching desperately for her sister. So she realizes something's wrong, her sister goes missing, and she is desperate to find her. Arbogast, played by Martin Balsam. He's a private investigator who helps search for Marion. And there's a particular scene with Arbogast that I'm not going to tell you about now, but it was really, really revolutionary camera work when in regards to Arbogast. So we're going to be watching for that. But I know you're going to look at me and say, really, that was revolutionary? It's pretty silly, but kind of cool. All right, it's a family affair. Hitchcock himself loved casting his family members. He also was the director that used to make cameos in all of his films. So he never really has a speaking part, but his image shows up somewhere. Hitchcock decided to cast his daughter Patricia to play Marion's co-worker Caroline. And she's super, super annoying at the beginning, but that's the character that she's supposed to portray. So it's kind of fun that Hitchcock gets to work with family members a lot. And he always wanted to make a cameo in one of her scenes. So we're going to look for Hitchcock within the first 4 minutes of the movie. He's going to be wearing a cowboy hat. So we're going to take some time, we're going to try and see if we can spot him or find him. And he would never tell the cast or the crew when he was going to make his cameo. So he would plan it out himself, but then when it came actually time to making the cameo, he would just walk on all of a sudden on screen, and the cast would be surprised. So our objective is to look for him in the cowboy hat. Scenes to watch for. There are a couple things that I do want to really point out to you guys. The shower scene. Okay, so the film took 30 days to make, but 7 of those were consumed by the shower sequence, which is one of the most famous sequences in movie history. It took 7 days to film and 78 pieces of film. So if you think about those old film reels, it took a ton of film to actually make. They had 70 different camera setups. So think about the hours upon hours that went into this particular shower scene. And because Janet Leigh and Hitchcock were friends, she felt super awkward about being in the shower. So they had a body double for her, and we're gonna talk more about that when we get there. Also, really, really scandalous. There's a toilet flushing, which is the first time the film ever had a toilet flushing on screen. So it's considered really lewd and really shocking. We are almost done with this PowerPoint. Once we're done with it, we're going to start watching the film tomorrow. And 7 days, it's only 45 seconds of film. So really, really interesting how long it took out of the whole movie to make this 45-second montage. All right, bye guys.